Christmas Eve, 1982. He never went a day without seeing both of his parents. His parents was young. They had him at 19 and 20. His mother was 19, his father was 20. And his father was heavy in the street. His mother did corporate, but they were young, still figuring it out. But by the time the little kid was old enough to understand or grasp anything as far as parenthood, 2, 3 years old, like I said, he never saw them hold hands. He never saw his parents hug. But he knew they was his parents, and not a day went by that he didn't see the both of them. And he grew up in a neighborhood where he may have been one of the few kids who knew who his father was. You know, everybody knew their mother, but he was one of the few who knew who his father was. So time passed a couple years later, and he moved to St. James between Gates and Green, up the block from Biggie. And he wound up calling that home. That became where he grew into himself, 9, 10 years old. And around that time, he was watching Video Music Box, if you a Brooklynite, for real. Not a new Brooklynite, nothing wrong with the new Brooklynites, but if you was here from the jump, you know Video Music Box, Saturday mornings, etc., etc. So one day he was watching Video Music Box like he did every week as a 9-year-old, and he saw a video by a kid named Chi Ali. The song was called AJ Nothing But a Number. So he saw that and he was like, I want to do that. And at 9 years old, he was like, that's what I want to do. He even went as far to tell his mother, Ma, I want to rap and be Spider-Man at the same time. And his mother was so cool, she rocked with it. His mother was like, yeah, you could do it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to rap in the day and I'm going to save people at night. That's, you know, that. He told his mother all that and she was with it. And she was like, go for it, you know, do it. Do whatever you want. But the biggest thing with the little kid was that he was different from those around him because he had his father. When he moved to St. James, it was kind of like in the movie Boys in the Hood where, you know, his mother had a conversation with him and was like, listen, you gotta move. You know, I'm still gonna be here every day of your life, but I can't teach you how to be a man. You know, only your father can. And he didn't understand it. You know, he's like, but I see daddy all the time. I speak to daddy every day on the phone. I see him 3, 4 days a week. Why do I have to leave? And she was like, nah, you gotta go over there. We gotta reverse this. You'll see me 2, 3, 4 days a week now, and you'll be over there with your father, because I can't teach you how to be a man. Like, I did all I could as far as this part goes. So now it's his turn. And it was a mirror. It was a mirror of Boys in the Hood with Trey and his father, and it was a mirror of it. And he didn't understand it at first, but, you know, when he finally moved in with his father on St. James and he grew into himself and grew into being a man, he understood there what it meant. His father was literally the only father on the block. So his father became everybody's father. Everybody needed their bike fixed, they went to his father. Everybody needed money for the ice cream man, they went to his father. He said no a lot of times to everybody, but they still went to him, you know. His father also, was a funny thing about him, his father wouldn't let him go to school in the neighborhood. So there was a school right around the corner, PS 11. His father said, nah, you gotta go over here. His father always made him go to school in Manhattan. One day, he was going to school, and he walked past one of those schools that was right by his house, and he saw teddy bears taped on the gate and everything of the school, and he never understood why he had to go to school 45 minutes away in the city, 40 minutes away on the train in the city, as opposed to just going around the corner. Like, yo, the school is right around the corner. I could throw a rock and hit it, like, from the window. Why do I have to go that far? So one day he's going to school, and he sees teddy bears and flowers and everything tied up to a gate in front of the school that he passes by all the time. It turns out the night before, and this was a junior high school, but it turns out the night before there was a basketball game in that school, and it was the school's team. So it was young kids, 12, 13, it was junior high, and they was playing a school, I want to say from Brownsville, and the kid who went to the school right around the corner, they got busy in the game, so they bust Brownsville school ass. So whoever the star player was, the kids from the Brownsville school chased him and stabbed him up, put him in a box. And at that point, the kid realized why his father never wanted him to go to school in the neighborhood. So all the things he would think to himself, oh, daddy don't know what he doing, mommy don't know what she doing, I could go to school right there, I don't have to wake up as early, I could get more sleep, which means I'll be all right in school. He realized what it meant, and he realized why it was so important that his parents pushed him the way they did for him to be in advanced placement English his whole life and all that and everything that he had done scholastically. And at that point, he just realized how much having both of his parents meant. So even though he never saw his parents kiss or hold hands or hug, they always got along. And he realized what it meant to have his mother, but more so as a young black man to have his father. And I'm just proud to say that little kid is me.
As you can see, though, from the tape, I really didn't have nothing to say.
They don't want us to win. They don't want us to win.
Moves, okay. And two, check it. Satellite, she looking up to the sky, waiting on my land. Gotta execute the plan with Jabari as a chauffeur. 100 worth of coca, this thing of ours.
Like, that would be different than
Say that again?
I said, like, a mistake of infidelity. Like, that's not really a mistake. You know, speaking to last episode, talking about how conscious of a decision that was. But you know what I mean? Like, the mistake of that, like, you know, that happening, like, an isolated incident, as opposed to, like, going, like, continuing to go back down that path. Yeah. Continuing to support that, like, that would be, like, if I'm looking at it from the salvation aspect, then it's like, oh, like, I keep doing this thing. So now it's like, oh, no, I need a new start. As opposed to just repentance.
That's a, I don't,
No,
I was
go ahead.
gonna, 'cause, I mean, that sounds like more of a thing, like a deliverance situation.
No, that's why I was asking,
Yeah.
what exactly is the difference? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, no. I mean, I think just even in like the aspect. Go, my bad.
What's the difference between like just like feeling like you need to redo your first works as opposed to just repenting?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying.
I get you. I mean,
That's good. No, because
that's what we was asking.
I'm like, because I be in that boat all the time. Right?
He sparked that question when he said,
I was just, man. I didn't know it was going to go like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure some stuff out.
You started, and then when he started talking, he said, yo, I'll be saved for a couple weeks. Then, like, I got to go get saved again. I was like, wait, what's that? Yeah. Like, that's different.
I'm about to leave the country. I got some plans for Mexico.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm keeping it to me. Vacation means something to me.
Yeah, I get you.
I feel that. Right? So my life is moving.
Gas mileage. You're just getting your money's worth.
But
right.
you know
like when I vacationed in the past, it's been a certain vibe. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I'm like trying to get my shit together, you know what I'm saying, so to speak, like. Yeah.
But you know
what does that look like for me now?
About that though is that you'll be there. And if you're in a different place, you're just in a different place mentally.
For real.
And that thing will hit you, and you be like, yo, I don't even want to do
Nah, that's what it be. So for real, what'll happen is...
I don't want to do that.
You'll be...
It happens. I'm not saying...
Yeah, that's what it is.
When you're in a different place spiritually, it'll be the same stuff that you're accustomed to doing.
And prepared to do.
And that you're used to doing. Like, yo, I do this every single time. I know exactly how this works. Yeah. Like... And it'll be those things that, like, when your spirit is in a different place, you just won't have it. Like it's just like, yo, I'm prepared to do it, but I don't have the urge. Like, whatever I had that was on the inside.
Listen, like, I got a bar at the crib, right? Like AJ know, we used to go to the bar all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I got, like, everything I like is my bar. You know what I'm saying? Right. Everything up there inspired me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's I got my go-tos. You know what I'm saying? I got you know what I'm saying? I got bottles of wine in the fridge just in case people slump through. You know what I'm saying? Like the vibes has been it's amazing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But like I really have had no desire as of late to like you know what I'm saying to drink like that. But like I know like when I fly, you know what I'm saying? When I know I'm going out the country on vacation like that, I'm like, yo, I need a couple drinks, and you know what I'm saying? On a plane, like that's
this is where I usually get in trouble. But the Bible says not to drink to get drunk. Like it tells us to be sober minded, and it's telling us like like so we can know, like, all right, these are the tricks of the devil. Basically, the Bible is all about self-control, controlling
You talking about the
yourself.
sin of gluttony?
It's
Let's
gluttony,
go.
but it's
I
gluttony.
want to get to the pie because it's getting late. But I want to retouch on this because this shit is important to me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
so
saying? But, I didn't know it was gonna go where it's going. Like,
if you're doing it like, because the Bible, like, if you're doing it like to relax yourself, kind of thing, like technically you're not in the wrong if you're not overindulging. So the overindulgence is the problem, because what happens is when you overindulge, you lose your cognitive function,
right?
And then you go back to another place. This is exactly what happens. So this is
no, but I'm looking at it like even in the terms of like addiction, right? Like people like yo, I overheard a couple guys talking. They was like, oh well, drugs are legal because Percocets are drugs and blah. I said, but for me, it was my thought was intention, right? Yes. Because a doctor can prescribe medication. If I Major Mac jacked up his shoulder, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
if he takes the prescription as it's meant for, his intention
Exactly.
isn't to get jammed up.
Exactly.
His intention is to alleviate the pain appropriately by way of using this medication for its intended purpose.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? But when you start crushing it and sniffing it and doing all kinds of other stuff, your intention is completely different.
Yeah. Well, now
Can I just say real quick, only because we have maybe like a difference in opinion, only because because the Bible goes out of its way so many times to tell us to be sober minded,
correct,
and to be vigilant about that,
correct.
And part of the reason is because when we're not, when we're not in control of our, I thought Jesus, it says, where it also says that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind.
Correct.
So there's so many points where it's telling us to make sure that we are in our right mind.
Yes.
Because if you're, you know what I mean, like to basically keep your head on a swivel, because
I think the mics is on, bro.
They are on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was yeah.
You told me to turn it on.
Okay, back.
Too good.
I didn't want to wait.
She's like,
He said, I think the mic's on.
That's got a message like I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, welcome to the middle of our conversation. Right, guys.
No, but I think because of that, there's, you know what I mean, like there's just a point which we can't. I don't think that, because when people are like, I happen to look at being saved the same way that people, and this is crazy because of where I was previously working, dealing with people who have issues with substance abuse. I think when you are trying to live a different life, it takes for you to be able to rehab from the life that you were living.
True.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, just like the guys that we would have in our facility, there's going to be times when you relapse. It's going to happen.
Right.
There's going to be times when you mess up. And so when we're talking about mistakes, it's not a mistake if you intentionally necessarily did it, but we're talking about a mistake in that once you do that, you realize that is not something that I want to do. I wish that I hadn't done it. I'm regretful because I went in that direction. And so, you know what I mean? Like, and so we would call it a mistake just because it's like, if I say, I look back over my life and all the mistakes that I made. Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? When I did said thing, I was thinking that it was, I might have thought that it was the right thing to do. I might have thought that it was, it was straight for me to do that. But now, like on the other side of it, I'm convicted and I feel a certain way about living that life. And so I'll just welcome everybody to the Logic Based Collective. On our conversation is our pre-pod convo.
We'll skip the preliminaries.
Yeah, so just for those who are kind of already tuned in, I just got a couple messages. You didn't miss anything.
We were already in this conversation. Just went a little long.
Yeah, my bad, yo. I had a few questions I need to say. So
it's
a good conversation.
It's not your bad because the questions that
it was a great question.
It's conversations that we should have, and we'll continue to do so. We do have a subject. Just make sure. Let's do a vibe check real quick. Everybody feeling good?
Yeah, we good.
Okay, everybody having a
It's
week.
Monday.
Okay, all right. It's Monday. we are in the thick of it. As y'all can see, and so pause. Well,
I didn't know.
Right.
do it.
Oh man.
But we're here. It's Monday. We are. we appreciate you watching on Logic Based Collective on YouTube. Everybody watching on Digital Boombox Network, on the app, on YouTube, also Soul Spoken Private TV. Thank you all for tuning in today. We are talking about.
I don't even know.
Oh man.
Oh, I would say.
DBN. My bad. I didn't say. I said Digital Boombox Network.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name? I was about to say. Oh man, what did I say?
I thought you said the app, the YouTube, and the.
yeah. Nah, so
I got tied up.
Shout out to all the people that are on, all the people that are listening, wherever you're listening from. We encourage you to put your 2 cents in the comments so that we can acknowledge them, we can read them, add your perspectives. We definitely want to hear that. All the people, for everybody. Well, we're not on Facebook Live yet, but shout out to you all who interact on Facebook. So today we're having a conversation about support versus enabling.
Yes.
And so we're gonna try to make a hard left from where we were to where it is that we're going. We can definitely go back to that on the if you guys want afterwards. But yeah, so enabling versus support. What are you guys' thoughts?
It is so for me. It can be a thin line. I think support goes on the intention of the receiver, and it's hard being the giver to determine if you're supporting or if you're enabling. The way that my mom told it to me when I was a kid was that she doesn't mind helping people that are willing to help themselves. But if you're not going to help yourself, then I can't enable you to do whatever you're doing instead of doing what you're supposed to be doing, kind of thing. So it's like a thin line, because I want to help you, but at the same time, I don't want to be, I think you didn't want to use the word crutch the last time, but I don't want to be another obstacle that you have to get over in order to achieve the things that you're trying to get.
Yeah. I feel like, in your example, like just being a parent is trying to figure out what the line is between support and then giving like tough love where it's needed. It's always hard to know because you want to be sensitive to somebody's needs, but at the same time, I'm just speaking as a parent, like you gotta put your foot to somebody's back you gotta fly. You have to fly now.
Right. Birds push them right out the nest.
But it's like I said, it's hard to do. Every person is different, and so I think probably just wanting to be a support. I don't know if you guys might have the same type of the same type of mindset toward that. So you can say what your opinions are, but I don't. It's really, I think it's really tough. Before, I know that I didn't have really when I was younger, I didn't really have an understanding of the way that people. I lived kind of like a sheltered life up to a point. My parents, they were in their ministry, and there's a lot of things that we didn't actually see. We weren't a part of. Some things we did experience, but a lot of things we did not. So, there was this gentleman that started coming to our church. I think I probably was 20 or 21, and he wanted to, he was like, yo, he came to church. So in my mind, I'm just like, yo, he came to church. He's trying to do this and this and that. He wants to, you know what I'm saying? He's, come and join the family, and so, but what I didn't realize is that, the way that addiction works and the way that people become when they're addicted to those things. And so what ended up happening was in me, because I'm like, yo, I don't understand why it seems like everybody's turning their back on this guy. He's asking for help. But what was happening was I was coming around and being willing to help so much. I was actually feeding into what it is that he wanted me to do. I wasn't really helping him. I was just somebody who he was able to get things from because I took pity.
Right.
And so, you know what I mean? Like, and so it was like where I didn't understand why. I'm like, yo, why is this person saying, nah, you gotta lead them to their own devices. He gotta want to do this now. He gotta, we already did this and this and this. He's gotta, what I mean? I'm like, well, why are you giving up? Like, you know what I mean? And so, but then like once I realized, cause I'm like, yo, I mean, it like I'm going from like just helping, talking to like, like giving this guy rides places and doing, you know what I'm saying? Like doing like buying stuff, all types of things. But it was like feeding into what it is that he wanted. Like he didn't stop. And of course he was coming there. He was coming to the church for a reason, but it's like you know what I mean? Like, but that is something that you have to want to do. And it doesn't matter how much people help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter how much other people want you to stop. And like, until you decide that you want to react, like, it's not going to matter. That's not, you know what I mean? Like, even like the guys that come out of facilities, like, yo, like you're making them detox. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so you live this sober life for like 90 days. You back on the street. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, some guys want it, some guys don't. But it's like, you don't have any control over that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so it doesn't mean to not show compassion, but you're really enabling a person when you don't allow for them to figure some things out on their own.
Yeah, when I look at enabling, I kind of define that as delaying consequences, right? Like, if I can't pay my rent, and somebody I keep asking, they keep loaning me money. If I'm not coming up with a way to supply those needs for myself, I'm going to continually not be able to pay my rent without that. So they're enabling me to not have to deal with the consequences of paying my bills late or getting an eviction notice. When I look at support, I think support is an assist, right? You might support someone who has the ability to do something, but they may not believe in themselves. They may not have put everything together in order to do it, but they have the ability to do it. So I'm going to support them in the fact that they can do it, and I'm giving them the proper encouragement and maybe guidance in order to get that task done. So I think that for me is the difference between support and, enabling.
Is there any gray area between the two?
I think so, and I think I live there.
Yeah, I think it depends on what it is that you may be enabling, right? And then it might be also how the person is coming at you, because I think there's different styles of enabling, right? There could be fear, like if I don't help this person, like if we're using like substance abuse, if I'm hurting, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not feeling physically well, someone might enable me to get high because they don't want me to get sick. And they've seen the repercussions of me being physically ill because I don't have said substance. So it's the fear thing, right? It could be manipulation as well. Like, if I don't do this, my kids are going to be homeless. And what kind of a parent are you to not support me because you're really not supporting your grandkids? You know what I mean? So there's manipulation. So there's a whole different type of way that a person can use, like, fear and manipulation and the victim mentality in order to have an enabler. You know what I mean? So I think those are the shades of gray. For me, in my perspective, anyway.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the stuff I be doing. I'm like, what?
Wait, are you being enabled?
No, if I'm enabling or if I'm being, not, because I know that I'm often, I don't necessarily give unsolicited advice. It's always solicited. And then I don't want to give it because it's not going to be what you want to hear. And I love my people, but I can't tell you something that's not true, and so there are those times where I'm just like, I don't want to give you my 2 cents because I don't think you're ready for it, and until I won't even say until I feel like, but usually I'm able to recognize when that ear is ready to hear what I have to say. And then with most of my friends, okay, some people still don't want to listen to me, but it's cool. Because like I said, it's like, oh, well, chef, like, what do you think? And I'm just like, you don't want to know. But I like that they do trust that I'm going to not even necessarily be honest, but I'm going to say what's needed to be said, but also be kind. And sometimes I'm wondering if my tone and kindness is an enabling thing, but I recognize that I'm still saying the hard stuff, even though. No. Anyway, I'm still saying the things that need to be said, but with a more, oh, okay. So this is what we're not gonna do, okay? And but I
that's fine though.
Yeah, because
I think automatically going to a brash and or stern delivery may be necessary for some. But you talked about the discernment process of seeing where people are and considering your audience. So I would imagine like if someone needed like the more stern version of a message, you would deliver it in the appropriate way. So that's fine. Like I think it's really tough in this topic because depending on like if you talked about like the support versus the enabling, like, and you talked about parenting. So I'm like, that's why I spoke on the gray area. I'm like, okay, if your kid was on their own, like, are you enabling them if you pay that rent for them? Or are you, or are you, seeing if they're working towards a solution while fronting them the $2,000 for the month or whatever, you know what I mean? And being like, oh, but you put in these applications, you waiting for the call back, or you wait, you know what I mean? Like even like I signed up for Uber, but it ain't let me through yet. Like you know what I mean? I'm trying to do something. It's like okay, I ain't gonna make you have to get the notice to show that.
That's support though.
That I know, but some people would say it's enabling depending on how
we say by the
strict
age
you are.
We say by the age.
I don't think I would. Not by the age. I think it's by their level of commitment and their level of level.
It's got to be there.
Because like in that example, right? Like if I'm not gonna have my kid be put out on the street, but if they're sitting at the crib not doing nothing and they're playing Xbox all day,
well, I'm saying,
you know what I'm saying?
But in that situation, it's like the alternative is not going to be the street. The alternative is going to be this safety cushion that I have underneath that, which is my place. So maybe I won't pay that for you. Perhaps you'll have to move back in. You know, I don't. Depending on what the situation is, but it's like and you like saying that this is not where you want to be. You moved out to do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like now you have a taste of what that looks like.
Yeah.
And so maybe now it's like if I told you that, listen, if you're not gonna go to school, you gotta have a job, you gotta pay. You know what I'm saying? X amount of things. If you're going to college, like I'm going, like maybe it'll make them think twice. So maybe I should just go to school because real life is real hard, and I want to be, you know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to get my head start doing whatever, doing whatever it is I'm gonna do. And so I'm just saying like whatever the safety net is, because I don't think as a parent that is, just to let you collapse. Sometimes maybe like I don't. For the people that have children that maybe like be out in the streets and stuff, maybe like they have to take their lumps in. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you do end up in jail for, you know what I'm saying, like for I don't know. You know what I mean? Like sometimes that be the way that people learn. But you know what I mean? Like in terms of parenting, I'm saying like you know your kids. There was only one of mine that needed like a constant just had this you know what I'm saying? Like it was really because pretty much everybody else is like you could get them a look, a stern talking to. You know what I'm saying? We have a Family Matters moment, and you know like and you're you know what I'm saying?
Foot of the bed chat.
Yeah. with the light string music in the background. So it's like
just got the music playing on your phone in your pocket.
Yeah,
that's the time.
So it's different. So it's different. I think it is. It's different for for different ones. Like in that aspect, but just in the broader just in the broader part of the conversation, you know what I mean? Like I would imagine that people are different. Like so, probably the way to come at you is gonna be different than the way to come at you.
And I think that's the tough part for parenting, as far as like raising multiple personalities in the same household.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to appear. I won't even say appear. Like, I believe that sometimes there are parents that have favor towards certain children. Sometimes there are parents that align with certain personalities of certain humans, and those humans can be your children. You know what I mean? Like God forbid you get along with your first and third child more than your middle, because you seem like you're reinforcing like middle child things that you're not really aligning, but it's just like they're like totally different than you, and y'all don't get along as humans, but y'all happen to be family. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just not like communicated that like some people just don't vibe. But guess what? You created that person. like, you know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately it bees like that. Like, and it's really tough, because it's like it's gonna seem like you're helping one more than you're helping the other. Yeah, but it's like one actually is the person that's like, yo, I have 2 decades of telling them, hey, if you touch that, it's gonna hurt you, and they're like, well, let me see. And it's like, so it's like, now I'm saving my breath because you're 20 and your beard's thicker than mine. So, you know what I mean? So I'm like, go on out there, like you know, catch your lumps, and I'll be here when after you get punched in the face by life. Like, I'm always here for you.
Right.
I just know you got to learn the hard way. That's who you are. You've been that way since before you knew how to read. You wouldn't listen.
You know.
But I mean, that's something that you got to kind of take in stride, like as time goes on, like learning. If you're talking about children, like you have kind of like insight, because depending on how old they are, or hopefully that's how long you've had them, or if you've been in contact with them. So like if you're 5-year-old type of thing, like it's gonna be different from your 20-year-old, as you were talking about. Like, I've had 20 years to figure out who you are, so now I know where the line is, because I understand what you're going to do with this 20 years of experience. But it's harder for like, because I took it from like, if you take it from like friends and family members kind of thing, but not like your children. Because like, all right, there's people that will be like, oh yeah, yo, I'm short, I need like $15. But how do you need $15 every week? like,
you don't always need the 15.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta stay home.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's my point. Like, cause that's the thing about it. Like, now
me giving you 15 into what you want to do.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
you gonna
then,
find a way to do it, or you gonna not?
Yeah,
like I pay your Netflix.
Yeah, nah.
Like, at that point,
he said, "Yo, you might as well put me on the rent." But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's times where, like, all right, like, I don't mind. For me personally, I don't mind helping you. If you're working, you only get paid X amount of dollars. You need to make more money, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. You don't got enough. You got enough money to pay all your bills, and you don't got enough money to, like, for like the last day, because we get paid bi-weekly. So maybe it's Thursday. You're like, yo, I just need like $20. All right, cool, whatever. Like, but the next paycheck, I expect you to learn from this and say, yo, all right, last paycheck, I messed around, and somewhere I spent $20 that I needed. And then go back and like, all right, cool. If I do this, I do this, I do this. Maybe instead of buying a bunch of stuff on Monday, kind of dial it back. Or maybe, you know what? Let me go grocery shopping. Like, because now it's like, all right, I've learned from the experience.
So that just brought a very good point to my mind. I know this is a mistake that I may have made, or I don't want to say a mistake, but like my kids, man. So
we love y'all. We love y'all.
He's not gonna be happy if he sees this, but
no, I'm mad you said he. So, you doubted it.
You
doubted it.
So to say,
Jay Bateman. No.
Oh.
JB.
Now you should tell the story.
Nah, but so
we love you, cuz.
But I think in part, like he never seen me like going to mad people for help for stuff. So when he's doing like ridiculous things, there was like this one Christmas, he wanted money on a gift card, gave it to him, and he ended up blowing through it quicker than he thought because it was you know what I mean, like it was more than he'd ever had, but it was less than, you know what I mean, like, you know. And so he's door dashing McDonald's. That's like a smooth like $27 a pop, like, you know what I mean, like just for like a Big Mac, a soda, and some fries, like. But he's doing that stuff, and it's like, yo, so it's gone. It's like, all right, now what did you learn? You know what I'm saying, like. And so then like, so I'm like, all right, we done had this talk. We go through all this stuff, and like now, because now I'm like, oh, there's stuff that you want now, and I'm going to get you this stuff because I know that you made this mistake. I'm not going to continue to do this for you. And so the next time he had like a musician's day, blew through, I mean, like they blessed him, and he blew through it. Oh my God, like Hurricane Katrina, like he just, and I mean, like he brought the electronic devices that were faulty, like you know what I'm saying, just mass and so we talk about like priorities and so, but then what ended up happening was he wanted to be like more to himself. He wasn't asking me for help, but he was continuing with the bad habits. So you know what I'm saying, like, because it's like, yo,
I say that's improvement.
He sees what I'm saying, but he sees like, because like I'm like, yo, he always see me working. Not just, it was like, yo, all right, he asked me for something, I'm like, give me until this time. Not like, go ask granddad, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm going to do this, but it's going to take this amount of time for me to make that happen. So, you know what I mean? Like, so he's looking at that. If I get in the jam, it's like, all right, well, I know I got to cut back on some of the things that I want. So it's like, yo, so then he's doing that, but still, you know what I mean? Like making frivolous purchases, but then doing stuff like getting extra gigs and stuff to be able to supplement but it's like, yo, but if the lesson is to not do that stuff and save for the things that you really want. So it's like, so I'm not getting the stuff for him. He's getting it, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like he'll go through money like a tropical storm and just try, you know what I mean? Like and not really ask for no help. So it's like in that way, yeah, cool. Because you're getting it, like you're getting it on your own. It's like, but these other lessons are now harder to learn because you just kind of figured out a way to be able to, like support your habit.
I'm not gonna lie, I've done that before. I've done that many of times. But I'll say it is improvement only because for him it's a level of independence, and now he's trying to do stuff for himself. So I'll give him that. But to AJ's point, he's still not learning the overall lesson, and that's what's making it harder for him.
He's learning his version of independence. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, well, you know that if you ask me for a ride at the last minute, I'm not giving you no ride if I don't feel like it, because I told you so many times to let me know in advance and not at the last minute. So now it's like, oh, bet. So if I call somebody and if I call somebody else and they can't do it, I'm gonna take the L and just get an Uber, because I already know that Dad is not on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily what I would like for him to do is like, just save your money for a car so you don't have to get an Uber. But he's like, yo, well, I'm going to find a way to do what I want to do. You know what I mean?
It's a process. He's still young. High school.
Still got lessons to learn.
Right.
For sure. But, I mean, that's when you start to have the conversations about fiscal responsibility. So I see you, son. I'm proud of the fact that you're making a way out of no way, but there's a better way to do it. You know what I mean?
I think that the big takeaway from that is, as a parent, you don't really get to pick what they pull from the lessons that
Very true.
Like the behavior you model in front of them. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like you wanted him to just like kind of like grab the work ethic from what he's seen, but he grabbed the ability to suffer in silence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, like it's like, yo, you showed me that too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was a couple times that you could have dialed a number and you was like, nah, we're gonna thug it out and wait till next Friday.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So he's like, all right, I'm gonna thug it out till I make my way. Like, heard you.
Yeah.
Solid
that's
point.
I mean that's and so just in the way of in that that's a very important point. When it's like, in terms of enabling or supporting, it's like, like I wanna do this stuff, and now I see the unintentional habit that you picked up from me, like the way that I didn't mean to be. And so now I'm trying to sort of make up for that by doing, like doing these things. It's like, well, because I don't necessarily know how to fix that. Now, parenting, I'm learning on the fly still. I got grown kids, and I'm still not, I still feel like I'm not doing it right a lot, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like you do the best that you could do. I really don't know how to remedy that in terms of, just saying.
That's tough, bro. Because I mean, like, the more smart or the more aware the person is that's receiving what you're saying, they can just become that much more critical. Because at the end of the day, like I said, like when he's like, yo, you could have just called granddad and like, maybe he could have helped us through this particular jam. And you're like, nah, but like I'm a man, I'm da-da-da. He's like, well, I'm a man and da-da-da. Like, you know what I mean? He just starts saying the same things back to you, and it's like, yo, like I understand. I got the parts of the lesson you didn't want me to get. I got that too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, yo, like I seen the cool shoes. I want some cool shoes. Like I seen this. I wanted that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I seen the suit. I want.
It's like no matter how much
I seen the instrument. I want the instrument.
No matter
like,
how much you try to hit them with
I want the studio time.
Nah,
like,
home do that. So hopefully you don't have to go through that.
Right. It's like that's exactly where I'm at.
And that's so funny. I complimented his shoes the other day, and he was just like, yeah, might as well have been a pair of Jordans. And I was like, oh, you are your father's child. You are.
And sometimes you got to reteach those lessons, man. Yeah.
And
especially if you find that they're picking up the parts of it that you didn't expect, right? But what you learn from that is like, how does my child learn, right? Because there's the things that you teach and there's the things that they implement. And they learn those from someplace, right? So it's like learning your audience. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like sometimes you have to cater to your audience. So you have to cater to how your child chooses to learn. So you teach a lesson. He picked up things that you didn't expect him to, but you glean information from that. So then when you go back to reteach that lesson, you teach it in a way, or you try to teach it in a way that he'll pick up the messages from. But difficult.
I try to really do it with sort of like with honesty. And, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's important.
Because I tell, I know that a lot of his hard-headedness he gets from me. And, just like we've had the conversation here, like, yo, well, if you could go back and tell yourself something, you know what I mean? Like I said, if y'all go back, I definitely said, like, yo, I don't know if I would listen to me. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because I was in a different headspace at that time. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I want to say that I would have, but I really don't know. So I try to keep it, just keep it honest. Like, yo, this is where what you're doing got me. I don't want you to go down this road. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but again, in a way, like I understand. I don't want to enable. So, but now you're sort of towing, like it is a gray area, but it's like it feels like it's a tightrope that you're walking in terms of what it is you do from to what it is that you do from that point on. Because it's like, like, all right, so I know that every kid's need is different. He might need this, but now, you know what I'm saying? I have to make it known to him, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. And I'm not going to continue to, you know what I mean? Like, but it's just in real time, the way that it plays out, it's like, of course, like you're fighting through aggravation and you want to strangle them. And, so it's like,
yeah, but you don't, I mean, like you don't want to be quote unquote theatric, but there's some things that I think that we do subconsciously that we don't even realize that, like, you probably have to model. Because, unfortunately, technology makes things so convenient that kids wouldn't even see it. Like, you know what I mean? So, for example, I hate to say it, but if you're sitting at the table and you're in your note tab and you're, like, working out a budget, it just looks like this. It looks the same as if you're scrolling
on IG. On Facebook, right?
Facts.
But if you take out a notebook and you're actually writing it out, like they're gonna be like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Oh, now like before I can get this, I have to put this to the side. I got to do this." Like if he sees you budgeting, maybe he'll pick up on some of that too.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like since he's already like operating through osmosis and like letting things rub off on him that you didn't intentionally, because you didn't place the silent suffering in front of him. He just caught on to it.
Right.
So maybe he'll catch on to the budgeting aspect of things, or you know what I mean? Like some of the things I would just say, like you probably have to like a little bit of intentionally like place in front of them for them to stumble into.
I think that's dope because I never like I don't be thinking about that either. Like especially like the way you broke it down to the like you wouldn't be able to tell, like because if you're on your phone and you're just doing it, like it's the same as scrolling Facebook, Instagram.
It just looks the same,
right?
Like, you just holding your phone.
Right.
Like they don't know if you texting your friend or if you saying, "Yo, he's getting on my nerves today and I can't take it." Like you know what I mean? Like it could be a number of things. Like it all just looks the same. You just got your phone in your hand.
I get you. But yeah, nah. So like, it's a tightrope. So it's definitely a tightrope to kind of walk, understanding the difference between supporting and enabling, and like, it's never out of animosity. So I don't want anybody to feel like, yo, we're calling it another thing because we don't want to support. Nah, it's not that. Like for real, like I think we just want what's best for people. Like I want what's best for you, and I want you to be independent. Like this is what I tell people. I'm like, listen, I don't mind helping you, but I'm not gonna do it for you because what if something happens to me, or what if I don't got it? What are you gonna do? Like what are you gonna do if I can't help you? Like
okay. I had this conversation earlier. I was just talking about finances and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And full transparency, no disrespect to her, but it's how I felt growing up. Like I felt like one of my older family members had a lot going on financially in comparison to the rest of the family.
Yep.
And I always thought it would behoove her, in my opinion,
to dial some stuff back.
Not at all. That ain't my problem. I don't pocket watch. But I just want her to share knowledge.
Oh, okay.
I felt like it was, I felt like there may have been gratification on her side to be able to have that one up on others. Because to me personally, it's that teach a man to fish.
Right.
Yeah.
Type of vibe. And like, I really believe that like, if I was in her position, which I hope to be soon, I would make sure that I was rallying my family and trying to educate.
Right.
Like, it's cool, like, the first year or so of everybody being like, yo, you could let me hold a couple hundred because I know you got a few hundred to spare or da-da-da. But I'm like, that is enabling.
Yeah. Right.
But it's also fueling something within the person that is enabling at that point in time where they like being the person that can give that as opposed to, you know what I mean? Like, at least in that example.
Yeah. I get you.
Like, because to me personally, like, not saying I don't want to help niggas, but I'd much rather niggas be able to do things for themselves.
Yeah. Me too.
So I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna teach you so you could be up here too, and we could all
we
help more people. Like you know what I mean? Like
some people don't like to do that.
Some people feel like when I bring people up to my level, it lessens me.
Some people just feel like
that, and that is my point.
Like
And I mean, like me personally, like I can't do that. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like yo, like I wanna figure something out. And the only reason I'm keeping it from people is just for proof of concept.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, once I know it's really
I gotta
working,
make sure
I'm like,
it works.
yo.
Right.
Like, yo, you might want to put this in your mix. If you got time to, thinking about this.
Right.
This saved me this many hours. This saved me from working overtime, et cetera, et cetera. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this gave me the ability to go to soccer practice.
Basically
or to go to basketball practice. You know what I mean?
Nah, I'm with it too. Like, I try to do the same thing just off of the strength of, like, yo, I know what I was doing. And I know, like, how it made me feel. Like, how I had, like, especially, like, working a lot. Like, I'm like, yo, you don't have to work that much. Like, especially, like not necessarily that you don't have to, but, like, it's not the goal. Like, working yourself to the bone shouldn't be what you dream of doing. It should be, what can I do? What I started telling my cousins, I'm like, what I'm thinking about now is what can I do today that's going to pay me 5 years from now? Like, because it's a different mindset.
Yeah.
It's like, if I go to this mindset of like, what can I do today that's going to pay me 5 years from now? Like, now I free up time. Freeing up time is crazy.
It's the most valuable resource.
Right. Like, freeing up time lets you do whatever you want to do. Like, because what happens is like, I'm like, I've done it. I've worked 2-3 jobs at a time. It's exhausting. Like, nobody wants to do all that. Plus, now you got a low tolerance level for patience and stuff like that because you're tired, you're hungry, or whatever the case is. Like, you're putting a lot of stress onto yourself. And I understand why.
Question in regards to like using the words from the topic, but like messing up what you just said. So you work in 2 to 3 jobs.
Yeah.
To support people.
To support my household.
That's what I'm saying. Of course. Now, what about the guilt that comes in when you start to like enable the guilt that's being thrown at you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've had it so like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, maybe your kid's not behaving, but you feel kind of bad that you're not around, so you like just buy something.
Oh no, I ain't about to.
I've seen so many people do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Be like, take a little something since we got some extra money going on right. Like, it gets crazy.
I mean, I think that's a slippery slope because like
that's enabling.
Right, it's enabling.
And then you enabling them, and people begin to feel entitled to.
People feed into that.
I mean, because I would feel like, like someone that like may stumble upon our video that's ridiculously financially well-to-do would like find that problem all the time because they're always trying to remedy the fact that they don't have our greatest inventory of time to give to people, so they're always throwing bread out, not realizing the monsters they're creating.
So you're hurting your loved ones when you do that. Only because like if you don't correct the what's the word I'm looking for? Like if you don't correct the I was gonna say the habit, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But basically the action of what's happening. Like what's gonna happen is at some point it's going to spiral out of your control. And if they're getting in trouble and you're just like, I'm just gonna give them something kind of thing. Just because, like, I'm just trying to help them out because I don't be around and stuff like that. Like, because you feel guilty. Like, at some point, they're going to get into too much trouble. And they're going to expect the same expectation. Oh, well, you always throw me something. Like, throw me something out. Like, because worst case scenario, your kid gets thrown in jail. Now I need money for a lawyer. Now I need money for the books. Now I need, like, all.
What's your cutoff, TW?
What's that?
What's your cutoff?
Oh man, it depends on the situation. Give me an example. I'll let you know where I'm at.
Okay, so you're doing exponentially better. Okay, we talking millionaire talk.
Okay.
And like you got somebody that is like returning to you for help on the light bill. Maybe like $300 a month. How many months they got that they can continue to bark up that tree?
After the first time they ask, we're having a conversation about why they can't take care of their own personal responsibilities.
Okay.
Right? So depending on the situation, if they're in a bad time and they need a little help, I may be willing to give them some assistance. But we're always coaching for self-improvement. You know what I'm saying? So even though you're in a tough moment now, what are we doing to get ourselves out of this tough moment? Right. Because the light bill is residual. You know what I'm saying? That's going to keep coming. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to keep coming to me. And even though I got it, you know what I'm saying?
This is why I asked
you know, even though I got it, that don't mean that I want to continually give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I got my own light bill. You know what I'm saying? And more money, more problems. You know what I'm saying? So I got the bread.
How many times can you have it if you keep having it for somebody?
Exactly. Listen, you know what I mean?
But
like,
that's
I'm all like you, man. Like let's have a conversation about why we're in this situation. And those are the difficult situations that we don't want to have those conversations with. But I'm really about having difficult conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way that people learn and grow. I really don't believe that people learn and grow in comfort. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you're comfortable asking, you're always going to be comfortable asking.
Right.
So I have to make you uncomfortable asking me. You know what I'm saying? Right. And not to throw shade. You know what I'm saying? Because if I love you, I'm going to rock with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm not going to help you. But if you can help me understand why, I'm like, yo, shorty just got in trouble, or your kid is doing something. Like, listen, it's my niece, my nephew, whatever. I care about these people. I'm going to help you out, especially if I have the abundance to do so. Absolutely. But we're going to solve this problem. Right. You know what I'm saying? Life is about balance, and I can't have that unbalanced equation reaching in my pocket.
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you 100%. But just because, like, that's the truth of the matter. Like, yo, you got to figure out.
You going to nip it in the bud early.
We like got to figure out how to fix it.
Yeah, yo, you know what I'm saying? I have no problem helping people.
I gotta bother you. So is there a sliding scale on that grace? Like, so would it change if it was your child versus your cousin, or versus your good friend? Like, does it change?
I think there's always grace. I think there's always grace for my creations. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. My cousin was here before me, and they had nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate this part of the talk.
My child is my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to handle mine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to give an added level of grace to my children. But if it's my cousin or something like that, I have grace, but I have less grace than my kids.
And you can come across rigid. That's why I wanted to show that there is nuance there. Yeah. Like, for anybody that's viewing, you know what I mean, to understand, like, yo, there are levels. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got a lot of help, but there's, like, some more for my kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because people be like, oh, man, like, they throw anybody out in the street. Like,
it's not that. I think successful people have to be rigid, though. You know what I'm saying? If I've created a certain level for myself, or if I've created a business, or I've created an empire for myself, it has to come with rules and regulations. And I have to abide by those rules and regulations to continue to be successful myself. I'm not going to allow somebody to be a dependent of me and throw me off my game.
Yeah, but even in the way of your kids, like if you did that and then something happened to you and it caused a catastrophe for the way that like your kids lived or how you got by day to day, it's like, well, you know what I'm saying, would that say that you were successful but you failed as a parent because they, you know what I'm saying, like you didn't necessarily get them the things that they needed to be able to make it on their own?
Man, I heard this thing about a cycle, and it was like, it was like strong people create weak children who
I can't remember.
Like how, and that's how, like, and
so I get what you.
Well, the reason the cycle goes is like that's why, like, it'd be really hard for systematically for us to like close this gap.
So yeah,
because we're stuck in a cycle where, like, you know, like, I'm gonna do so well to make sure my kids don't do as bad as I had it growing up, and then they're gonna be like so spoiled because I'm like trying to provide so much and try to make up for the back guilt of the old days. And then it's like now they're like just sitting there lazy, so they can't even really take the leg up because they're like,
so the
do it for me.
The depiction of the cycle without like showing the picture of it was basically your strengths become your children's weaknesses because you were so strong at it that they became dependent on it. But then your weaknesses sometimes become their strengths because you were so bad at it that they had to be better at it in order to keep going. And that's what.
Or they try to make up for those deficiencies going forward. So, say for example, you made so much money, but you never gave them hugs. So now, like, they're amazing at like giving emotional support to their children, but they all still living off granddad's bread. Cause niggas don't work. We got mad hugs and no jobs.
Why?
I think when you live that sort of a lifestyle, though, you know what I'm saying, you have to be aware of those things and look forward and teach forward. I'll give you a personal example. You know what I'm saying? My pops was a car dealer. 100%. You know what I'm saying? So people had an expectation that I was always going to be pushing something fly. You know what I'm saying? I had forget everybody else. I had the expectation that I was going to be pushing something fly. I was driving at 15 years old. Like, I can't wait, right? But my father, although he could have given me the keys to whatever I wanted, didn't give me the keys to whatever I wanted. Because my father was intelligent enough to know not to set me up for failure.
Respect.
Right? So, and he knew what kind of kid I was. Right? So what he did was he made sure that I had a job first, because although he can provide a vehicle for me, vehicles cost. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's easy to get, but difficult to keep. He wasn't gonna pay my excise tax. He wasn't gonna pay my maintenance. He wasn't gonna pay for tires. He wasn't gonna pay for brakes. He wasn't gonna pay for insurance. That's it. I had to do that. So in order for me to even feel like he was comfortable enough to give me the gift of a vehicle, he made sure that I had the responsibility of a job.
Yes, sir.
And until I had that, I wasn't getting a car. You know what I'm saying? So although I had the abundance in the lifestyle to get whatever I wanted, I didn't get whatever I wanted. He gave me what he felt was appropriate for me. Right. Yeah. My father could have gave me a Lexus, a Benz, a Hummer, anything I wanted. I was driving luxury cars since I was 15 years old. I got a Chevy. But you know what? The job that I had when he gave me that Chevy, I could afford to fix, because I couldn't afford Beamer problems. I couldn't afford Benz problems. Right? So when you're responsible enough to have the abundance and lifestyle, you prepare your children for that kind of stuff.
Oh, because you wasn't supposed to raise you.
The Beamer side of the room just started looking over. I'm sorry,
guys. But it is what it is, though, right? Because if you're intelligent enough to have that sort of lifestyle, then you know what it costs to live said lifestyle, right? Sure. So you're not going to set your children up for a bad moment, right? Because what was going to happen if he gave me a BMW?
And that's the thing.
I was going to be like, yo, Pops, I can't afford to fix this shit. And then he would have been coming out of pocket. And that wouldn't have taught me any more responsibility than when I have a problem, I have to ask my father.
Bro, what you saying is so crazy, because I was saying the same thing to my guy. I was like, yo, trying to just, it was like, it blew his mind we having this conversation, because I'm like, yo, so you gotta, because once you get the car, you're gonna save this. I'm gonna do this, and then we'll have the car. But then you're gonna have to pay for insurance. I'm not putting you on my insurance.
Nah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Nah. Like, yo, you not. Nah, I worked for this. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're not about to give me.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, like that's something that my father did with us. Like, he was in a position by the time it was time to get, for us to start driving cars. If he had wanted to, he could have co-signed for it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he didn't do that, because it's like, yo, nah, because you're not going to jack up my credit, but it's not going to teach you to, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you're not going to be able to appreciate it like you would if you had to do it. And because, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like a whole different thing. I just want, because Meg is going nuts in the comment show. Like, yo, go ahead, AJ.
Let's see. We are a little bit far back, so she was talking about. We were talking about the people that feel bad, or the people that don't want to help people because they feel like they're lessening themselves. Mm-hmm. Megs was like, it's like one of those crabs in the barrel got to come up, but they kept the same mentality, same small-minded behaviors.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And then basically she was talking, queuing up on the topic, and anyone watching this has to mean sponsor, support the Logic-Based Collective. Feel free to support or enable. It's all welcomed.
It's very welcome. Anybody.
We're down for enablers.
What she said. Continue to enable the podcast if you want to do that.
So yeah, and then basically she was talking about.
They get to play it around.
Swinging back around.
On that side.
He made eye contact with him.
Bring it on. That she was talking about the people that do feel, the people that are enabled, that bring up this different stories about their grandmother's passing and stuff like that. It's always something. And then she said, I could hear the BMW side.
Yeah, shout out to the
and then
BMW
also
side.
Miss Kim Lockett said, hey, family.
Hey, Kim.
What's good, Kim?
What up?
Let me find out.
Hello.
How?
Why you
yeah.
say it?
So just
Hello.
so just where we so like, share, subscribe, comment, Logic Based Collective. Once again, just want to right in the middle of what it is that we're saying. I know you can still hear the chuckles over the microphone. Take the opportunity to plug that. If you are listening, wherever you're listening, we thank you for listening on Logic Based Collective on YouTube. We will ask you that you would like, share, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this on whether it's Digital Boombox Network, whether it's Soft Spoken Proper TV. If you would go to the Logic Based Collective, it's the only thing that comes up when you type it into the YouTube bar. If you could just hit the subscribe button because it costs you nothing.
It's for free right now.
Okay, so you were talking about your dad selling cars, and my dad did as well.
Yeah.
Around those times when you learn how to drive. Now you folks have luxury vehicles, not making it like that, but I was saying like about the standard that you subconsciously create within your child's mind.
That part.
Yeah, my dad definitely did that to me.
I mean, because you got to think like right now, your young lady is like she's in the BMW. This is her life. Like she's living a large part of her childhood in a BMW. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then like you're gonna be like, so we pulling up to the junkyard and we about to get you the bucket.
Yo, you know what? To be fair, no, because
I'm wondering, like,
yeah.
because this is where people start to get stuck between the lesson, how tough the lesson is that your dad was willing to teach you, versus.
Oh, it was a pill. Trust.
I mean, versus what you think, like, you know, because okay, when your little one's very little, you're like, I got the Jordans, he get the Jordans. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Right,
okay,
right.
cool. Now you start thinking like,
I get whatever they get.
I got
Same
the Benz.
size.
Does he get the Benz? I got the house.
It ain't the
Does he
same.
get the house?
It ain't the same.
Absolutely not. Don't even look over here. I don't know about them, but that's a no
But
for me.
But it's a cutoff. It's a cutoff.
I'm saying because it's so
I be rocking with them Kia boys.
Like you might influence their taste, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying. Like, but you're not saying like, yo, this is. So I'm going to, and I mean, like I've said throughout, like over time, like I'm not. This is what I'm gonna do. So even when you know what I mean, like I'll be buying school shoes with intent, bro. I'm like, listen, this is what I'm gonna spend. So you already know that if you want something else, you're gonna have to add more money to this because I'm already in the hole for this much, yo. Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I mean, yo, like I got an 18-year-old fam. I can't continue to pay for your haircut, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to kick in your part of the phone bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the thing is like, yeah, you might want all this stuff, but it's like, yo, but you, just like I said, you see me working and doing all this stuff to be able to get that, like, you're going to have to do the same thing. You can feel, it's okay if you feel like I could have got you the same thing that I got. Because you know what's going to happen? You're going to reach about 30, 31, 32, and you're going to start to have kids, and you're going to realize that all the things that I said were, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, so it's like, yo, I'm cool with you feeling like that in the short term, because what it's going to lead back to is all the things are going to start making sense in your mind later on down the road. So now I'm not, I will absolutely not. Just, you see me riding this, but you was with me when we was riding in a rusty van too. So you know this was a process, man. Like
you have van work ethic right now. You need to get to your Beamer moment.
That's what it is. And I tell the way that I even got it, because I wasn't even planning on having a Beamer moment when I got mine. I actually told the dealer that, yo, my mom has one of these. I want to get one of these one day. And
like,
you know what I'm
today.
saying? Like, so yeah. So this is like, you know,
He said
so,
it sound like a good
you know what I
day
mean?
to
Like,
get one.
so I'm like, so you, what you do is you save your money, you pay your tithe and offering, and the Lord will bless you the way He blessed me.
He's
You
like,
know what I'm saying?
but the dealer told me today was my day. It's like, the dealer don't know how hard you don't work. It's gonna be rough in 3 months.
Nah, bro.
Yeah, and it's funny because during the sermon yesterday, the preacher actually like spoke on that a little bit, just like how it was a bigger picture, but like preparation. Like you prepare for that setup. You prepare to get to that point. You don't just show up and like, well, this is what I want. Here I go.
Yeah, I remember a message that was talking about like, you know, like being ready for the blessing you desire to receive.
Right.
Because, you know, like not only do you want the blessing, but you want to be able to retain it.
Right.
Right.
Because like, you know,
Preparing
he
for
was
your
saying,
blessing of land, having preparation for it. I
Right.
remember that.
Yes,
That's
sir.
fire.
But you had this dope vehicle and can't afford the insurance.
Nah, but
Because
people
I
do
promise you it's gonna be different than the rust bucket. Like,
The insurance.
Let your joint hit limp mode one time.
Limp mode.
Bling.
Start with the gas.
Listen,
All cars can't take 87.
Yep,
Yeah.
nah,
Oh, no.
and they be trying though. They
Yeah.
keep trying, messing up their engines.
have
Yeah.
your
Right.
have your joint, have your engine sound like a coin
Yo.
out laundromat.
that's very
Is this
real.
ticking?
But I mean, yeah, that's very real.
Nah, but like that's the truth.
Find
Like,
out the hard way.
Intermediate.
It's
like,
premium for
let
a
me do
reason.
89.
$1 more a gallon.
listen, I
You
was
just
playing
ruined
that
lunch.
for a while. I got my
Like,
truck.
listen,
I'm
like,
like, yo, this
remote
is
start?
right.
Nah, I'm gonna get in there
Oh
cold,
yeah, you
dog.
could definitely feel the
Moved
difference.
We're not running that
yep,
for 2
nope,
minutes.
Yeah.
Yo, but when my grandfather, he was very fiscally responsible. So especially in his older years, he had set up so where he could do things because this is the life that he set up for himself.
Correct.
I always thought that I was just gonna be able to do everything that he did. Yo, he switched out of cars like every other year.
Smooth.
Because he could do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, so it's like, yo, when I get older, like I'm gonna do that thing. The thing is, I never had a conversation with him. He died before I was like really an adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I didn't never think to ask him those questions as a kid. Like, yo, how do you be able to do it? I just
Why
assumed.
would you?
I'm like, yo, right. But I'm saying, like, I just thought like, yo, this is what I'm gonna be able to do. Versus when I became an adult, so I got the Chevy Cavalier. And 2 years later, I got the Chevy Cavalier.
It took a little more time.
Like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, I think we're gonna stay.
Circle the block.
We're gonna sit with this for a little while and see where it takes us. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
But that goes back to my point about the cycle of parents having provisions and their child being the beneficiary of those, sometimes to the detriment. Only because, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like my grandfather and my dad were very, like representative of that example. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my grandfather owned a home very early. And I'm like, oh. Like, I'm like, yo, I would have thought he would have just gave my dad the game, da-da-da. And it's like, no, my grandfather wasn't alive to see my dad's house.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's like it took a while through my dad's process, but my dad had to, like, deal with growing up, being provided for in such an abundance that, like, you know, falling flat on his face or going through whatever his process was, like, you know what I mean, to get there. And it's like, I feel like I'm like a tad ahead of him because I wasn't as coddled, for lack of better words, growing up. You know what I mean? But
Right.
No disrespect.
nah, not at all. I love that man. He know what it is.
But yeah, no, I think what we're talking about, what T talking about, is just like setting your children up for success with the great, like, with a different form of support. So we're talking about support and enabling from a financial standpoint, but what T Dub was talking about was support from a mental standpoint, because his dad understood that there is a mentality that you have to have in order to keep certain things. Like, it's all fun and games to get the nice fancy car, to get whatever you want. However, there's going to be costs behind those costs that you're not aware of. Same thing with AJ talking about how he talked to his son about the excise tax. Because I didn't know what excise tax was when I first got my car. I'm like, yo, what you mean? Every year they're gonna charge me because my car is not so old, you just gonna charge me money? Like,
Yes.
Insurance just as much as like half the car or whatever, depending on where you get. Like mad stuff that you don't know you're gonna have to pay for.
Welcome to the federal government.
Right. Everything is unfair.
So like,
they gonna tax my check and then tax me on everything I buy after they already taxed it.
Yep.
And if I don't pay it, they gonna tax me again.
They're gonna tax you again.
Yeah, son, it's right in the tailpipes.
Yeah.
And you can get rich. And go to jail if you don't want to listen. Like,
that's how a lot of people get.
Like, ask Ronald Isley.
That's how they get you.
So remember Wesley Snipes used to be Blade?
That's right.
The Daywalker couldn't cut it.
I love the trench and never made it inside. He had the same uniform.
Well, nah. So like, I think that level of support, like, and not enabling in that sense.
That requires a lot of discipline.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, you have at that point, like, it's easy to say I'm gonna let my kid work for their own car when you can't afford it.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it sounds good, but you couldn't do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're making ends meet and you're living check to check, like a lot of us can be and are, you know what I mean, or have been. And the thing is like, it requires a different level of discipline to like see them stumble and not run to them, because you know it's gonna help them walk, for them to jump up and, you know, get their bearings on their own. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen parents literally, like, with that example, struggle with having, like, let them figure it out. Let them figure it out a little bit. Like, it's going to make them tougher. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to need that tool going forward. Otherwise, get ready to carry a 20-year-old. Because you never let them walk as a 1-year-old.
That makes me think about, like, the enabling and the support outside of, like, the financial aspect. Like, what about the emotional support?
Right.
How do you deal with, like, what type of support is like the emotional maturity of your children, versus like enabling them to like be able to critically think for themselves.
That's like something that like I try to take or try to figure out what was the wisdom in a lot of the things that my father and my mother would like say to me, and then I don't want to say like improve on it, but like, you know, now how do I take this and get them to be able to receive it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think like that's the challenge. It's not necessarily not knowing. It's like just trying to figure out how to make it, you know, how to make it work for them. Because I can look back and say, yo, this was some fire advice from my dad. But if he had said it like this, I would have received it so much sooner. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's not like what you're saying is wrong. Is you have the wisdom, but knowing how to dispense said wisdom is a thing as well. Because this works for you. Maybe it won't work for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you think you know how to dispense things properly for each of your children?
I don't know that I'm not gonna say that I'm, you know, that I would be an expert in that area necessarily. I know that it's something, because I always think about it. It's something that I'm better at earlier than maybe my parents were. But I know that there are times when I miss the mark. Because you know, like temperament and all that is like a real thing. So it's like you know what I'm saying, like what headspace are you in when you're telling them, and that, you know what I mean, like, so I think that that I'm a little better at it because I'm cognizant of it. I think that when they did it, they were doing the absolute best that they could do,
of course. Yeah.
And so like but just taking that and being like, yo, you know, how can I make this matter to them? Because so many of the lessons that I got from my dad in particular, sometimes I didn't like the way that he talked to me, and but I understand the reason why he did it. He was taking those lessons from his father,
Of course.
and so he, you know what I mean, like, so he was like, yo, well, if I do it this way, then this will happen, but because of the way that it hit me, it made me understand that every person is not cookie cutter. This is not a way, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so you have to do it different ways. Just like in the same way, you know, the stuff that I would have to beat Jace for, I didn't have to do that with Alex. You know what I'm saying? So that I had to do with Alex, I probably could like look at Ava before I even get to the lecture. She's already in tears. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
you got one of those too.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just like making it, just making it work. So you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to be like like the best that I can and manage my emotions at the same time. Like I said, so I'm trying to be, like, so maybe like a little better, a little earlier than them. I think that my parents are more cognizant of it now. Sometimes in the way that they continue to parent me. You know what I mean? Like, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's just kind of a thing. You just gotta try to get better, because I don't think that, you know what I mean, like, you just ever really just get it down, because like different situations and different things are gonna put you in different, like a different headspace. You might be able to take financial advice from me, but maybe I can't tell you nothing about your relationships. You know what I mean? Like, so it's
the funny thing is, as you were saying that, I was just thinking, like, the world changes so much. So, like, if you think about the span of time, like, your dad's giving you lessons that are already 20 years old, 20 years in the future. That's a 40-year gap. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his dad told him that when he was 20.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? And it's that old by the time he's telling you, and the world is totally different. So the advice is already that out of place. Either the delivery, the message, all of it, like, doesn't necessarily fit.
Even the context.
In the world that you're living in when you're trying to hand the message over. Yeah. It's like you almost have to time travel to parent effectively. Because you have to, like, you have to grab the merit from, like, like, oh yeah, my dad told me like this and I get that lesson, but never mind even when he told me the lesson, which was 20 years later than when he learned it. Now you have to go forward and apply it to the world that your child's living in to try to make it make some sense and, like, like, bridge the gap. Like, it's crazy. Like, that's
like, listen, I'm gonna hold you. My dad, he like his father. My grandfather was more like, he's like just a little more rigid. I don't want to say military, but he was like, things were what they were gonna be. Is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, people, I guess back in those times, kids, like, was wearing Converse. My dad didn't get no cons. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, you gonna get these grocery store specials and you gonna keep it moving. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so then in the time when he was the same age, like, I'm in middle school, he's the age that his father was, and he's like, I'm not, I don't know, are you spending $120, $150 on some sneakers? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not wearing grocery store sneakers, and I will not go to school like this. But I have my mind, bro, I'll skip every day. Like, I promise you, I'm not gonna be in 7th grade with Sonic the Hedgehog sneakers on, Like, it's not like you brought my shoes from Big Y. Good luck. But to him,
he said he in high school.
He was taking that. Obviously, like, inflation happens, all of these things. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, the price cut. So he's like, like, when you gotta spend this, I gotta spend more than $70 on some shoes. It's like, bro, you saying 70 is too much, and the ones that I'm asking for is not even the top notch. I didn't get Jordans till I was grown. Cause you know what I'm saying? Cause he just was. I mean, but it was like, and I'm saying it's cool, but it's like, but he was bringing that, like, I'm not paying nothing for the, you know what I mean? Like, really, for these, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get these ducks, and you're gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, thank God. But I'm saying, like, but thank God, because my mom understood a little better, so she was able to buffer, and you know what I mean? Like, so I didn't get the Jordans, I got the Pippins. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Grant Hill was doing his thing. The Grant Hills was doing their thing.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was
stack houses, maybe. You could get by.
That was the dealers, right?
For sure. Oh, you sound like you didn't have to deal with that.
It's all right. I didn't.
What was that?
Tone was very elitist.
Not really. I mean, I was really excited about the LA Gears at a point when I was really
the LA Gears.
Okay.
There was a time. But then I worked at a sneaker store in high school, so I was like,
which one?
Finish Line.
Oh,
so then it was just
I was prepared.
It was a different time.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah. Well, because my parents wouldn't enable me, and I needed to get a job, so that's really what it was.
I was trying to go to Fred's to get my parents to convince them to give me some Timbs because they was only $100 over there.
Oh, my friends, yeah.
It's still a problem. Like,
why are there 3 digits on this thing?
But these work boots right next to him.
It's like
work. You don't get a job. If you had a job, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If you did some work, we wouldn't have to talk about this.
If I could bring back some of the some of the proposed outfits in sneakers that was like just straight. It's a whole line of nasty work, bro.
See, that was support. they were nudging you in the direction of providing for yourself.
Absolutely. Yo, real talk. Because like that's what happened. I ended up getting a job in high school, bro. Like, and it was like they weren't buying none of my stuff. Like, it was on me.
Oh, yeah.
And I had already
your
purposed in my heart
have exceeded my means for you.
Listen, and I was cool with it. But the crazy thing is that, so they didn't. I don't feel like they enabled. I don't want to speak for my brother's experiences because Chris had a different one because they was old by then. But like,
it's different.
But we, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like they would take away. They would stop doing one of the responsibilities and start giving it to me. So again, it was like, okay, so now I'm buying my own school clothes every year. Now I'm paying for my own haircuts every time. Mm-hmm. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm cooking. You know what I mean? Like, my mom, it was like one day she just, I'm cooking on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like, I've taught you these things. Now you're gonna have to use those things, and you know what I'm saying? You use them more and more to the point like, by the time I moved out, like, she was cooking probably like on Sunday, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, every other night, it was like, all right, so who's cooking? Cause I'm not doing it, and it needs to be like, you need to be throwing something out before I get home from work on something that you're cooking. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, but it was like so it became like we began to get more and more responsibility, and then to the point where it's like, all right, well, I don't need you to do any of these things because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love my mom's cooking. If I don't have to do it, excellent. But you know what I'm saying? But if you don't, I'm not gonna starve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't buy me no shoes, I'm gonna have, like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, and so it, you know what I mean? Like, they, like, in that way, that's something I try to do because I feel like they did that right. They would not enable me in terms of the stuff that I'm. Oh, Jesus. Sometimes, I came home, I came home one time. So my dad had like a big screen TV when it was like those projection joints. Yeah. Them big box. You know what I mean? Like, but it was fly at the time.
Yeah, I remember y'all had that big TV. I was like, they're rich.
I came home one night because he was like,
sneakers I didn't buy you. Got us.
It's like, he was like, listen, like, this is his TV. He paid a lot for it. He wants it to last. We would continue to leave it on
stop
all
running
the
it
time,
I think I remember one of those lectures on the day I stayed over.
Bro.
Your dad was not playing about the TV.
I was an adult, I came home from work, and it was like, I worked second shift. Come home at night. He left a sign on the TV that said, "Leave it off." Like,
that was it was the whatchamacallit, right? It was the remember the TVs was called DLPs, the digital light projectors?
Yes.
I remember when your dad got
because them joints would burn out.
Like, he was like, yo, you gonna mess with the light. Like, y'all better turn it off.
Yo, man. And so, like, we,
That's crazy.
And I didn't.
It's like a memory unlock.
And bro,
I remember the cuss up.
I promise you, I promise you, but it was that, like, I ended up finding myself doing the same thing. Well, Mom, like, yo, y'all just going, okay, so leave it off. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take the power cord to work with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this joint gonna last. Like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like, yo, you want to be able to get your own, cause I ended up buying a TV for myself before I moved out, and you know what I mean? But it was mine. It was like, whatever I do with this is gonna be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like, cause I had a similar experience. Like, when you first buy your first big screen TV, like, yo, that's me. Yeah. Like, I'm mad excited. Like, I'm proud that I was able to get this big purchase.
Makes you want to take a day off work.
Right.
Like, not if you got it at Renaissance.
I did not, but that would have been the smart option. Like with my kids, I had small
interest they was charging.
You gonna have it for 2 weeks.
I had small kids, and I didn't mount it the second time I bought a TV, and I got fingerprints all over it. I'm just
them finger. Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
I'm like, yo, y'all kids gotta go.
Gotta go is crazy.
Go in your room. I'm like, you have a TV in your room. Why are you in here? Like,
the funny thing is the same reason you are. This one's bad.
But yeah, like I think these are important lessons to learn, and I think it helps. But I also think these stories, even though we're laughing about them, like these stories are things that we're going to pass on to our kids to explain to them, because at some point you're gonna go through the same thing. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have either a child or you're gonna have somebody who keeps asking for help, and you're not gonna know the difference between support and enabling. Mm-hmm. And it's also like we're talking about it from a child standpoint, but like they might have friends that are enablers. They might have friends that are manipulators. Absolutely. These are things that they're gonna come in contact with today. Like, so understanding the difference, like, okay, you help. These are the types of people you want to help. Not to say that we don't want to help people that are enabled, but we're trying to help them in a different fashion that they may not understand. Because nobody who's trying to be enabled is just going to want to hear, oh, yeah, I'm not going to help you. So, important stuff.
So what do you got? I mean, I know we've gone back and forth between emotional and tangible, for lack of better words. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think is the difference between emotional support and emotional enabling?
I think emotional enabling is when
telling people what they want to hear, co-signing, poor judgment, or poor behavior.
So like a yes man.
Yeah, basically. Yes, man. Like
Echo chamber.
Echo chamber.
Everything we stand against.
Right. I'm gonna go rob a bank. Okay. You go ahead and do that.
Well, you do need to go get you some money.
Right. I know you've been down on your luck. That's not a horrible idea.
I mean, but if it works out for you.
Yeah.
Make sure, don't you forget your 10%.
Right.
We'll remain prayerful.
Yeah, 10% on robbery.
We'll keep you in prayer.
That's fine.
Yeah, we'll keep you in prayer.
Bless the curse at the same time. It's like it should balance out, right, Lord?
Oh, that's crazy. Said the Lord give it.
I feel like I gave my tithe and my offering. What she can do is keep me out of jail, right?
Right. They got insurance. They're going to get it back. Come on.
I actually had an inmate tell me that, like, I hid the money because I knew I was only going to do 7 years and I'd be able to get back to it in time to have fun with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a real thing.
I mean, you got to think about it. If you take out your calculator and know what you actually earn per year versus that time that you're invested, some people come out on the up.
Yeah.
Like if they're able to lift 200,000 and they weren't gonna make it in 7 years.
Listen, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yo,
You gotta have your report card now.
What's your
report card now?
Like life changes after you've been through a Sally port.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Because it ain't. I'm gonna say because it ain't just the salary, bro. It's what you giving up too. It's like he's purchase your freedom for 2 years. See, like, oh, yo, Meg said she said not being honest with people and going along to get along.
Yeah.
Going along to
the
get
wealth
along.
of the wicked is laid up for the righteous.
Stuff.
Yo,
that's the word. Preach the word, man.
straight Robin Hood.
But yeah, so I mean, like, I think being an enabler for when it comes to emotional support is an issue because, like, you gotta tell your friends or quote unquote friends what it is. Like, I tell people that ask for my opinion all the time, like, listen, I give you this disclaimer before I start telling you what I'm gonna say. I'm like, listen, I'm not the type of friend who's just gonna agree with you because we're friends. I'm gonna tell you what I believe is right. I'm gonna tell you what I believe is wrong. And like a lot of times, the issue is both parties. So if like you have an argument with your spouse or with whoever or with a friend, usually they did something wrong. You also did something wrong.
Are all of your friends saved?
No, of course not.
No, I would imagine that would conflict. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when seeking advice, because, like, you know what I mean? Like, faith is, like, the root of your life.
I mean, so like, I tell people, like, I walk a Christian life. That is what I believe. I believe that's the right way to go. That's my personal belief. But at the same time, like, I'm going to respect you as a person and your beliefs. And when I go to talk to you, if you ask for my advice, I'm going to give you my advice. And a lot of it will be probably scripturally based.
I was about to say, things just seem so cut and dry, for lack of better words. Like, you know what I mean? Like, person coming to you, like, talk about some stress they're going through in their relationship, and they be like, well, you know, the root of the love should be the love of God. And if you had that, then you'd actually be able to handle your marriage a little better. You'd be like, wait, sir, I didn't ask for the pamphlet. Like, I'm here for one problem and one problem only. We can talk about my soul later. I'm trying to stop arguing when I go home over the beans.
So, like, I am not one of those people. So I'm not one of those people, only because I talked about this actually last week. Anytime that Jesus did a miracle, the first thing he did was meet the needs of whatever their physical need was first. So like the people that were starving and he took the little boy's lunch, he fed them first and then he preached. Like the woman at the well, he let her get her water. They had a conversation. Then he preached. The person that was supposed to be stoned had a conversation. Got the rest of the group out of there because he was like, all right, let him who's without sin cast the first stone. Everybody looked at themselves like, all right, well, I guess we gotta go. And then he talked to her and have a conversation. Then he ministered. So I do the same thing. Like, it's not my job. My personal opinion is, in order to reach people as a Christian, it is important to be transparent. That's why the Bible says you overcome by your testimony, by the word of your testimony. Because with you testifying, you build a layer of trust, because that's a vulnerable place. You have to talk about something that you went through or that you're currently going through. And when you sit eye to eye with somebody, it's easier to gain a level of trust. Because now I've been transparent with you, you become transparent with me, we can have a conversation. Then I can talk about your soul. Because now you're open to receive what I have to say, as opposed to you feeling like, oh, I'm so high and mighty, I'm this person up. No, I'm just me.
I always thought about that. Like the whole theory of, not theory, but the scripture that says you're overcome by your testimony. Like I'm always just like, where does that go versus privacy?
I mean, it depends on the person, and it depends on where they are in that particular situation.
I'm just so private. I can't see. I'm like, will I ever be overcome? I did not tell nobody what I want through.
You might, but there's a way to be able to share your testimony without like being detailed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I've been learning that. I mean, you can absolutely. Somebody actually said something to me the other day about how I've been able to say where I'm at on the pod without telling my business, you know, and I think everyone you can do that. Absolutely. Absolutely can share, you know, you don't gotta give names or nothing.
Yeah.
Keep people.
No, I mean, but even in terms of whatever happened, like it's gonna be different, because it just like what you've been saying in the past couple of weeks about using your discernment is like, yo, you know, there's conversations I'm gonna have with you one-on-one.
Exactly.
I may be able to be candid
about
a lot of things that I'm not gonna say on the pod.
Or
there's
on the
stuff
pulpit.
there's stuff that I'm about to say, there's stuff that I'll talk to y'all about that I'm not gonna necessarily say over the pulpit, because that's not the appropriate time to give that away right then. But there's some stuff in in men's group that we say to each other that's not gonna go outside that room. Where, you know what I'm saying? Like we're now we're here, we're gonna say that. There's some stuff like one-on-one you could, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm going through. It's like, yo, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been through that, and this is what happened with me. Right. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel no way about saying it, and because I was able to say it first, like you've overcome your fear to be able to admit what it is that's going on with you in totality, because now you can trust that because I said that, I'm not getting ready to judge you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just so it is like is able to peel away those layers.
Relieving too.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But before we, Amber, cause she be with the comment show. Shout out Amber. I think accountability is a part of support. I want people around me who are not going to say what I want to hear, but what I need to hear. Support gets me to another level. Enabling keeps me stuck.
Ooh, that's good.
So, fam, I'm just gonna. I don't, not that I don't have to say this, but she's such a keeper. Good guy. If I ever wanted a sister,
but when you string together like statements, like it speaks volumes to the person. So you're right when you say, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, like, you know, we talk about selection process and stuff like that, and it's like, you know, like her input constantly reinforces that your selection process was strong. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like, yeah. That's real. Yeah. Shout out to her.
Yeah, yo.
And trust and believe, it was difficult, y'all. It was difficult because I wasn't necessarily in the right headspace initially, but the same value, like sometimes. Like when you asked me that question earlier, you'd be like, "Yo, this brother is very rigid," but it might be the way I grew up. It might have been, you know what I'm saying, just from the stock that I'm cut from. But I really believe that when you have a standard for yourself and you hold yourself to that standard, you make better decisions. I am not gonna falter on my morals, on my compass. Like even the conversation we was having earlier on, like I really wanted the answer to that question so I can understand how I need to move forward. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not quick to make decisions, but when I make decisions, I feel like I can stand on those decisions and really, really double down on 10 toes down.
Yeah, measure 10 times, cut once, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? So
hold on, so Max said a step further, having family members that enable each other is another aspect that can be especially difficult. It doesn't mean that you tell, and then in response to what we were just talking about, it says it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you tell everyone your business. What you've gone through can be a help to someone, but you have to just discern. Discern who is free to share with. So yeah, and Amber said discernment is key, but also can't be ashamed to share what God has done in your life, and some details, and yes, some details need to be left out. Like fam, like the way that you're gonna tell your testimony in some, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you know, you're not gonna. I mean, we see it and we laugh and we laugh a lot of times, like on the internet, because it'd be like, you know, when people just be like saying stuff and it'd be wild, Joe. You know what I mean? And it's like it's not even so much that you should have to be ashamed of where you came from. Is that it wasn't for that moment. I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna be on the pulpit just saying certain things. I'm not ashamed to say where I came from. Maybe it's, you know what I mean? Like if we, again, like I said, in a group setting or one-on-one, just to be able to tell you like, yo, you know, this is where the Lord can bring you from. If I'm in front, you know what I mean? Like just depending on like, you know, wherever you at is like, well, maybe I'm going to say in general, he's brought me from a long way. He brought me out of this thing and this thing, this thing. When I speak to you, I can, you know what I'm saying? Like I can break that down a little bit more. And it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, but again, is being able to overcome. Like I said, the first thing that you overcome is like the fear to not want to speak about it. I'm talking about as a man. Like a lot of times, we not gonna speak. You know, a lot of times you will suffer whatever it is that you're going through until you know that somebody else is talking to you, and you like it's like you hearing it, and they're telling you what you went through. Because you thought you was the only one, and then, you know what I mean. Like it encourages you to be able to open up, and that's the way to, and that is the first step to being able to receive whatever it is that you need into coming out of what, you know, or being able to get over it. Like, you know, And so, and even to what what you were saying, how you tell your friends, and all of them are not saved, but you're talking to them like, yo, I'm not getting ready to give you the scripture right away. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting ready to, but fam, know that I'm going to tell you how I got through this. This is the way that I know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna tell you what I've been through, and later in the conversation, you're gonna ask me like, yo, well, what did you do? Well, this is what I did, because I'm not gonna, I can say, you know what I mean? Like, I can't be an advocate for therapy if I don't know, as big an advocate for therapy if I don't know that it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if this is the avenue that worked for me, this is what I'm gonna tell you to do. They say that you can do this, this, and this. I don't know, because I don't have experience in that in that way. You know what I mean? Like, but this right here is something I know can work.
Right. But that's definitely a level of discernment. Like, the whole knowing when to share your testimony and knowing like who to share your testimony to, is basically reading the room. Like, it's all right. There's kids in the church. There's
that part.
There's people that are still going through some things. There's sensitive information that I don't want to expose people to. Or there might be I might be talking about something where other people know about it, or that person is in the room and like we've had an issue and like this is what we're going through. I don't want to embarrass them, kind of thing. Yeah. Like, there's so many little nuances that go into it that I might not say it during the pulpit. It doesn't necessarily take away from what I'm going through. So basically, I can still tell you what is happening, or not what's happening verbatim, but like what I've experienced. So I don't embarrass anybody, or I don't call anybody out. But we can grow, and then when we're later on one-on-one, we'll go into the whole what exactly happened, and this, like how you walk through it.
Yo, man, she said it's the difference.
Whoa,
she said, it's the difference between saying "Saints, I was clapping all the cheeks," and saying "The Lord delivered me from my flesh."
Saints,
Yeah, you have to read. Yep, she said you have to read the room and know how your audience will receive it. Yo, that's facts.
But nah, I've heard.
Yeah,
I've
we
heard
did
some
say the
pastors,
same thing.
I've heard some pastors get up and say wild stuff like that, and everybody looks up like, "Yo, read the room, bro."
You're real, your delivery has to be tailored to your audience.
Yeah, you got it.
Hey man,
here's the difference.
Yeah,
but nah, so you got
the old third wall.
But nah, you got to be, because I think it's important. I think it's important as Christians, if we want to reach people, to tell people that you're also a person. Like, I don't know if this is real. I don't know, because I've heard it for years, but I've never experienced it. Like, people like, oh yeah, people feel like Christians just never had a bad day in life. I don't know if people feel like that. But I've always been a Christian, so I don't know. So like, but I'm like, yo, because I know of the stipulation, I try to break it down immediately. Like, yo, I put on my pants just like other people put on their pants, like one leg at a time. Like, if I'm feeling weird, I'll jump into them. Like
yeah, that's weird.
Yo, one thing. What Amber just said. Said sometimes like the details are not needed because it could take away from the heart and the intent of the message. And
absolutely.
That's really, that's really pretty much, she's saying in a better way what the message that we're all trying to convey. This is why you need to come up here, yo. Even if you don't want to be on camera, just
Lord.
You know what I mean? Like, so
that'd be a great.
So
gift.
We're looking forward to having
You've heard
you
it for
if you
yourself. I've told you it happens.
We're looking forward to having you if you want to come.
Yeah.
We can definitely shift.
Yeah, please stop through. It is 10:54. We are nearing the 11 o'clock hour. So anybody want to say any last comments?
Closing remarks.
This would be the remarks part of the program. Like, I used to hate that part. Long-winded preachers, dog. Like,
oh my goodness.
No, I think the last thing that I had wanted to mention was like when it comes to the support. oftentimes the people that need support are coming from a vulnerable place.
Yes.
So when you're speaking to supporting people, just like come with the non-judgment, man. Just be able to listen. Like sometimes it's not even that you have to have the answer. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just want to be heard. But if somebody is giving you something in a vulnerable space, or they're in a situation that you may not agree with, or a situation that you don't really have a whole lot of information about, just do it in a space of being non-judgmental, man.
Yeah. That's good.
That's great.
That's good.
Definitely.
Oh well, the hour is far spent. We are. Any announcements? Anything going on this week?
December 13th. What's happening December 13th? Are we having
We are.
I'm like, I know there's something.
What is?
What y'all
Okay,
got?
I'm sorry.
The legacy service.
Yeah.
What's that?
So
Speak on it.
I feel like you might have more details.
So the legacy service was something that they made for my grandfather. I'm not entirely sure how it came about.
It's a service?
It is a service where the initial thought process was to, I think, give room to like other people outside of our districts. So usually they invite somebody who's not in our district to come.
But it wasn't happening in December before. I think
I think they moved it.
Our district was getting together for dinner in December. It started out as a family thing, and then they moved it over to Whole Truth, opened it up to the district, and now we're doing a service.
Was that like the Bayman one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same one?
Yeah.
Oh, so why did they call it
that?
Okay.
I mean, that's what it was, and now it's a service.
Wait,
it started as food?
Yeah.
I remember the Bayman service. Like, it was just like a bunch of different Baymans.
Is there food after?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Why are you laughing? That'd be a wild thing. Like, yo, I'm here for the dinner. It's like actually a service.
Christmas
like, wait,
gala.
I didn't eat dinner.
The Christmas gala, correct? Was it
Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
15th?
The 15th.
The Christmas gala.
Yeah.
For
Am I missing one?
You named it.
Yeah, we gotta get off here. Yo, but we want SpreadTheWord.store, SpreadTheGoodWord.com.
You know it.
You already know. And yo, shout out to Churchy Life. We made this shirt. It says.
Hold on.
Says
Hell no.
hell?
It says hell.
Nah. In other words, I ain't going.
I will not see you there.
But you can check out Churchy Life on Instagram. Meg, if you're still listening, drop all the information in the comments. That's it's a gentleman named Damon. He's in Texas, whom which we are in partnership with. So he's So it's all good. Hell, nah.
Hell, nah.
So but we are out like an eyelash before 11 o'clock. Thank you for listening. We want to encourage you to follow. To follow us on Facebook and to subscribe to the Logic Based Collective on YouTube, and share it
And like it.
Yeah. So
Or dislike.
Or dislike it as well.
Enable us. Just like us.
Until the next time, we would implore you to allow Jesus to be the lotion that lathers your ashy soul.
Getting money on the road, gotta bring it back home. And that ain't one cologne, let the waves spin. When I lay lowest, when they pull me back in. Money so exciting, and that burger be a bison. Driving dirty with no license. Out in NC, cooking with my nigga Crisis. Now we catching flights, and them haters catch the bus. Stop telling lies, you can never be us. We really that fly, we can never be touched. We ain't equal. I do what I say, putting on for my peoples. To the next move, I'ma make a movie with the soundtrack groovy. Fly play shit with the beat all loopy. Fly play shit with the beat all loopy, nigga. Moose, listen, yeah. Ain't no hoe in the round, she let her kiss it. I put a hole in the ground, she let her dig it. freak get explicit, then it's back to the rhythm. Wanna know how I did it? Nigga, take a look. It's called not being shook, roll the dice. Got lucky on them twice, you create your own life. Start sketching, draw a masterpiece. It's the dawn in these streets, she gon' melt in them sheets. It's nothing, baby, catch you on the rebound. When I swing back in town, take a swim, you know the pool heated. Girl, it's much needed, and your boy keep it P-ish. What's the cost? Straight to the source, you know I'm the boss. Ain't no middleman talking niggas off. My bitch in the thong talking all soft. Take it all off.
Expensive spaghetti, you know what I'm saying? Niggas gold chain shit, man. $20 spoons, let's go, man.
Y'all think about it.
Tilly though, man. Going sicko mode, dice fickle throat. I move the trends to ice pickle shown. Niggas push suburbans through the urban. Most misters growth spurts. Works was turned in. The jerks picked the turban off Piccolo. Went from sniffing blow to kissing dirt. No blues. The older gods put me on, Mr. Smurf. Left rack rebates. Rap our cats and left rack freebase. My race based on EA ski tapes. I saw him rush in while we wait. Oh, he's a Russian, watch him freeze face. Yo, rock the apple pie, Indian strap belt. Scaring niggas, no karate, gave me his black belt. Be wearing niggas. Sip the old country Tom T straight. My shit's something special without the 3-8. 16's fragmented the Seagate. Bad man, this noggin. I was moving too fast for a relay. I heard my sayings wasn't relayed. I pull a hammer out, you think I'm playing with the DJs.
Visions of limbs on the battlefield. Send them to him, they getting killed on the battlefield. Better leave that alone. I'm in your bitch ear, berry white baritone. Welcome to my Terradome chambers, we got language. Spin the block heavy, it's me and Midas. Reunited, these reunited on nice cats need some enlightenment. Why is your face yelling, please smack me? Let me mosey before I fuck around and squeeze and leave the scene clapping. Give it to anybody, team player, the team captain. Yeah, that's me in the cuisine, something steam, black and bulletproof.